Welcome to the Good Life, Great Careers podcast. My name is Caitlin Betts, and I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition for the state of Nebraska. I'm joined again today by my co-host, Brian Civic, the Director of Workforce Training and Development for the state of Nebraska. As we've shared with you, our goal with this podcast is to spread the word that there are great career opportunities found in Nebraska state government. From nurses to accountants, from Omaha to Scottsbluff, and just about everything in between, we've likely got something for you. If you're interested in checking out our available career opportunities, go to statejobs.nebraska.gov and click on Find a State Job. As you'll see when searching state jobs, Nebraska state government is one of the largest and most diverse employers in the state when it comes to career opportunities. We're excited to provide a glimpse into one of those careers through each episode of this podcast. Our guest today is Holden Armstrong from the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs. Holden is currently their communications director and is responsible for developing, coordinating, and implementing all communications, marketing, and public relations for their agency. He has been in this role for a little over 5 years and has been with the state for nearly 7 years. Holden, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. We're excited to learn more about you and your career with the state of Nebraska. If we could start off with you just telling us a little bit more about yourself.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think you kind of covered my career. I live here in Lincoln with my wife. We have 2 dogs. We're both really into the arts. That was kind of one of the reasons that we came to Lincoln, so that my wife would have more opportunities in arts. She has an art degree and she's a painter. So yeah, we enjoy being out in nature, going to Wilderness Park, hiking, that kind of thing, and doing a lot of art projects. And that's one thing that I like about my job is it involves, graphic design, photography, writing, video production, which is all kind of things that I enjoy doing anyway. So kind of a good fit for me.
What kind of dogs do you have?
2 miniature pinchers.
Okay.
Wolfie and Jelly. They're getting up there. Wolfie's 15, but a lot of times you wouldn't even be able to tell other than his gray hair. He's running around, chomping everything. Pretty feisty. I think he's like 87 in dog years.
That's getting up there.
Yeah.
As a communications director, what's a typical day look like for you, if there is a typical day?
Really, there isn't a typical day, and that's one thing that I like about my job. Last week is a perfect example of, a typical week or some days. Our director testified before the Appropriations Committee, so I was fielding some media inquiries about some things that came up during the appropriations hearing. I was preparing some marketing materials for recruitment at our homes. We're getting ready for an event coming up later this month for Vietnam War Veterans Day. So there was just a lot of different stuff going on every day. Is a variety of projects, and we're a team of 2. There's just 2 of us over there at the 4th largest code agency. So we help the homes, the 4 veterans homes, central office, state service office, put materials together, respond to press inquiries, anything communications, it goes through us. So there's a lot of requests that we're getting, and that variety of different projects and things that we get to do is what makes it exciting every day. And I couldn't do the same thing every day. I would just lose interest very quickly.
Yeah, it sounds like you found a great career that really aligns with some of your passions, but you described a lot of different types of communication. How do you stay on top of all of that? And do you have a favorite in those?
I'd say video production is kind of my passion. But I really love writing a lot, and I've gotten to do a lot more writing than I expected. And just a wide variety of things, from press releases, which you would kind of expect, to copywriting, kind of the drier stuff, but also remarks and speeches and talking points. So I get a lot of, feedback. We have a great team as far as, I'll provide items for, our director, our deputy director, or someone else who's going to be speaking or something like that. And everyone's comfortable giving me feedback, and so I think that helps the process go. But one thing, our director, for example, used to be a legislator, so it's kind of eases the burden. I don't really write a lot for him. He just kind of goes and he knows what he wants to say, and he has the agency's mission at heart and can just speak it off the cuff. So that actually is pretty convenient for me when we have events coming up, and it's just one less task to have to worry about.
You mentioned the agency's mission and how Director Hilgert really has that at heart. I think probably Veterans Affairs is arguably one of the most meaningful missions of the state agencies. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Coming from, I don't have a military background. I think, some people in my family served in the military, but I do not have a military background. But it has been extremely fulfilling, just the interactions you have with veterans, with family members. And I'm kind of in an interesting place as communications director. A lot of, I don't know, not orphan tasks, but orphan calls. Like, where does this call go to? What is this even? Who handles this? They'll come to me. So sometimes I'll get calls that are just, I don't know, maybe frustrating at first because I'm not sure where I can come in and how I can help. I was actually thinking about one I had, it was a few years ago now. We were doing a Korean War ceremony, and a spouse of a Korean War veteran called, and I was really busy getting ready for the event. I didn't have a ton of time to dedicate to this, but I'm always willing to, hear people out and try to be there for them and help however I can. So I talked to her for over half an hour. And I mean, I don't think I ever provided an answer to I don't think she had any questions. She just wanted someone to talk to. And she just kind of told me stories about her husband and their life. And really that was all she needed. And, by the end of the call, I felt really great about that. I didn't do anything for her other than listen, but that happens a lot. It seems like, especially I mentioned the Vietnam War veterans ceremony coming up. A lot of those veterans, when they came home, they didn't get a very good welcome home, maybe none at all, or maybe kind of a negative experience. So this is an event where it's a federal initiative to say, we do recognize your service. And this is one that's always, I think, very important. And we get a lot of feedback and thank yous because they're being acknowledged and they deserve that acknowledgement and they want that. They may not admit it. So just things like that really make it an amazing mission. And that's actually what I hear, across the board, especially from the people who work in the veterans' homes, working with veterans and their family members and Gold Star parents and taking care of them, is that the mission serving these people is so much more than a paycheck, and the stories they hear and the friendships and relationships they build kind of take it to another level. It's more than just a paycheck and a career. I hear that all the time. And so it really is, I think, one of the best missions in the state to have.
Can you dive in a little bit deeper about Veterans Affairs? So you touched on some of the homes and some of these events and helping veterans bit. And it's the fourth largest code agency, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's a good sized agency. But what are all the different aspects, maybe some things that people don't realize Veterans Affairs does?
Sure, definitely. So basically, at its core, our mission is to serve Nebraska's veterans and their families. And so we run four state veterans homes, Kearney, Bellevue, Scottsbluff, and Norfolk. And then we have a Nebraska Veterans Cemetery at Alliance. So we have that kind of memorial and interment services. There may be some expansion at a Central Nebraska Cemetery in Grand Island that's kind of on the table. And then we have our state service office here in Lincoln, along with our central office. Well, our central office kind of provides support to everybody. But the state service office is really focused on connecting veterans with federal benefits, state benefits, helping them file claims and stuff. So really, if there's any veteran listening who has not worked with either their county veteran service officer or our state service office, they are the experts on what paperwork you need, how to file your claim correctly the first time, if you want to appeal the claim, how to go through that process. It can be a very daunting and complicated process going through, getting some of these benefits. And there's a huge range of benefits, from health to burial services to like GI education benefits. There's just so many different things. And then they have the PACT Act that just came out that it kind of expands for the Vietnam era veterans and their family members. So it's don't put it on yourself to try to navigate the system when there's experts here. We'll do it for free for veterans. That's our job, is to help navigate that system. So those are I was kind of rambling, but those are our main kind of things we provide, navigating veteran services, providing care at the homes, and then memorial services at the cemetery.
Sounds like there's probably a lot of communication efforts that go into all of those things.
Yes.
And you mentioned recruitment marketing earlier that you do for the veterans homes, especially. What does that look like for you?
Each home is kind of different. They're in a different location with a different labor force that is available to them, different sizes, different staffing needs. But mainly right now we're looking at kind of nurses, getting nurses into the facilities. I think all of them other than Bellevue could use nurses. I mean, that's kind of the whole nation could use a few more nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But we really try to kind of showcase our mission. And we have some great opportunities, beyond just the state benefits. We have a tuition reimbursement program. We have paid CNA classes. So you get out of high school, you want to become a nurse, we'll pay you. It's like 18 something an hour to take the class for 2 weeks. You get certified. You're offered a job at the facility at 21 something an hour. And then with the tuition reimbursement program, you can get up to 100% of your nursing school paid for through the state, all the way up to RN. So there's a lot of opportunities out there, and we just try to kind of, share with people the mission that we have, the opportunities that we offer for career advancement, and just, it really is a great agency to work for, a great place to work.
Is there a particularly successful campaign that you're excited about or like to share about?
Probably 2018, we had a really big Korean War Veterans Day ceremony, and just went kind of all out on it. We had the Korean consulate come for our region from Chicago.
Oh, wow.
He gave remarks. We got Korean War Ambassador for Peace medals, and I kind of handled the whole process. I do a lot of event coordination. So on top of the communication, I was taking applications for these medals. I think in the end, we got almost 200 medals shipped to us from Korea. 100 of them were presented at a ceremony in the Rotunda with Governor Ricketts, the Korean Consul General, and Director Hilgert. And we packed the Rotunda. They had to put people in the hallways. They had people up in the second floor looking down. It was just a huge event. And it was an anniversary. I won't say the year. I think it was like 65th anniversary. And so it was a lot of older veterans, their families, and it was just a really incredible day, an incredible moment, but so much work went into pulling it off and having 300 people fill the Rotunda. And it just really turned out incredible. And so just the reward from that was amazing.
That's awesome. Sounds like quite the event.
Yeah. We have photos and video of it on our social media sites if you'd like to go take a look at those.
What are the handles? Do you know the handles right off the top of your head?
Sure, yeah. Any Vets Affairs.
All right. Going back to your own career, so when you started at the state in state personnel and then you went over to Veterans Affairs, when you started at the state, were you anticipating this to be long-term, building a career, or was it kind of a placeholder for you at the time?
I wasn't really sure. We had moved to Lincoln not too long ago. I think we'd been here less than a year maybe. I had been working at the Lincoln Children's Museum. I don't know how far back you want me to go to day one. But so I was at the Children's Museum, and just really money was kind of a big factor. We were paycheck to paycheck, and I realized, things are a little bit more expensive than I anticipated, and looking for something that pays a little more. And, I don't know, maybe people would be like, well, that's kind of weird. You'd go to the state. But I think the state pays pretty competitive wages. The position opened up, can't remember. I think it was communications coordinator, and it was kind of close to some stuff I had done in the past in Kearney. So I just kind of took a shot at it to see what the state was like. I'd been in the nonprofit sector after college for about 3 years. So pretty similar kind of field. And then, I just worked hard and, I don't know, brought myself to work every day, and people seem to enjoy who I am. And I kind of have moved forward from there to Veterans Affairs and doing what I do now.
I think you've highlighted one of the great things about the state is that there is so much opportunity. And your own career journey, starting in one agency and growing to another, is definitely, I think, a benefit of working for such a large employer. What other benefits would you say are some of your favorites of working for the state?
I think one of the benefits of working at the state of Nebraska is that it's not profit driven. It's definitely people driven. I had applied at a billion-dollar company and for a position reporting to like a VP level person, doing similar stuff to what I end up doing here. It paid like $20,000 less than what I make at the state.
Really?
But the state is not like that in any way. There's no profit motive. It's just about serving the citizens of Nebraska. It's just about serving people. So I don't know that I would want to go to the private sector after going from nonprofit to a public sector. I don't know that I'd want to go there and be kind of a piece of that machine. People think, the state government, it's a machine, it's a bureaucracy. At least it's moving towards something good. Any young kids out there, don't turn your back on the state or nonprofits or something, because it is more rewarding and it is likely going to pay just as good. And plus with the benefits, you factor those in, state has pretty good benefits.
If someone's interested in just learning more about your agency, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
I would say take a look at our website, veterans.nebraska.gov. We just redid it in 2020. We actually won a couple awards for that. It really lays out, it's focused on the veteran, and we have a benefits expert, so you can look at different categories of benefits. What are you interested in? It'll help navigate to the ones that are relevant to you. We have a really nice a Nebraska Veterans Gateway to Employment. So it's all these employee resources, finding jobs, turning your military career code into a civilian career job. What does that look like? Just a ton of different resources. But it has information on each of the homes, the cemetery, the state service office, the agency overall. And I would encourage everybody to follow us on social media, see what we're doing day to day. We share a lot of information. That's one thing, veterans, it's a kind of a tight-knit community, and it's really a benefit to me when you need help boosting a message, or people come to me like, hey, we have this content we want out there. There's really a lot of great information being shared. So I would encourage any veterans or family members or anybody to follow us on social media and see the kind of stuff we share. We have really good relationships with the veteran service organizations in the state, American Legion, VFW, those types, as well as the federal VA, the Nebraska, Western Iowa healthcare system. We work pretty closely with all of them. And also with the Department of Labor. They have a veterans reemployment coordinator we work closely with, trying to make sure the veterans get, employed in jobs that are good for them, well-paying jobs that are a good fit. So we really partner with a lot of people, and there's a lot of great information on the website and social media. Like I said, it's NE Vets Affairs on, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, YouTube. There's LinkedIn. So yeah, we try to spread the word as much as we can. But there's a veteran thing going on every day probably. So there's always something to find.
All right. Do you have anything else, or are we ready for the hot seat?
Oh my gosh, I guess, yeah.
All right. All right.
Hot seat.
Hot seat. You ready? Okay. Need a moment. All right. Tell us something interesting about yourself that most people don't know.
My spirit animal is a turtle.
Interesting.
I think a lot of people know that, though.
Do they?
No, because I'm a turtle, so I just go in my shell.
Yeah,
and
you stay in your shell.
tell them.
If you could change your first name to anything, what would it be?
Holden Jr.
What?
What was wrong with that? I thought that it was fast and everything.
It was.
I just
can't
win.
Sorry. What's the most interesting or favorite place you've traveled to?
Interesting place. I don't know. I went to Hawaii last year.
All right. If you could travel back in time and change one thing, what would it be?
I would have put somebody else in the role of Terminator instead of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Any final advice for anyone starting out on their career?
I think I gave some really good advice. I would recommend they rewind, listen to me give it again.
Okay. That's good advice, yeah. And it was
you
very
watch
good
the
advice.
whole podcast again. I don't know.
I highly recommend that. That is good advice.
So there's
and
no
all of our
like
past
this or that things. Those mountain or beach, there's none of those. Wow.
Coke or Pepsi?
I don't drink pop.
Mountain or beach?
Neither.
Any other questions you want us to ask you?
What time? I have like a bunch of emails probably waiting for me. If this could go till 5, that would be ideal.
All right. Well, we can wrap it up. So,
Okay.
Holden, I want to thank you for your time that you spent with us today and sharing a little bit of your career journey with us and with our listeners. For our listeners, if you want to check out any of the great career opportunities, including those with the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, go to statejobs.nebraska.gov. That's statejobs.nebraska.gov, and click on the Find a State Job link. While you're there, you can also find links to our Nebraska State Job social media channels on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. We would love to have you follow us and learn more about the great career opportunities that we have here at the state. You can also check us out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Nebraska Department of Administrative Services, and then be sure to hit that subscribe and notify button so you will be notified whenever future podcasts drop. And you can also check out all of our past podcasts there on our channel as well. So once again, on behalf of our guest, Holden, my co-host Caitlin, and myself, Brian, I want to thank all of you for tuning in once again and learning more about the great careers here in the Good Life.